I'm starting. Y'all just going to have to get on pace with me. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to talk about parallel lines and a transversal. Now, hopefully you've heard of parallel lines before. Can anybody tell me something about parallel lines? They never cross. Does anybody know anything about their slope?
Yeah.
I am not surprised. All right, so parallel lines are lines that never, that never intersect. Does anybody, especially those students that I taught last year, does anybody remember anything about their slope?
Nope. Why?
No. No.
One. No, he guesses for you.
They have a very special relationship with their slope. It has the same slope. Take 2 points.
Who said that?
They have the same slope. Is it? Is it? Is it what she said?
That's what she said.
Alright, so a transversal. What do you think a transversal does? It does kind of translates, but it makes our figure different. So if parallel lines are lines that never intersect, what do you think a transversal is going to do? It's going to intersect it. So it is a line that intersects two or more lines.
Are you
know.
filming this?
I am.
Okay, good. So I need to go home and do it. I can't do it right now.
You could. You're just stressing me. Okay, so does anybody know what symbol we use when we draw on lines when they're parallel to each other? Like if I had these two lines right here, how do we know that they're parallel? It's not a tick mark. It's a triangle. Because tick mark means they're congruent, and this is the next thing that the mathematicians came up with because they wanted to be fancy. Alright, so this is what it means when lines are parallel. They have these cute little triangles on them. Now, if it was a tick mark, that would mean congruent, and lines can't be congruent because the line goes on forever.
Amen. How is it 18 money?
Now, we learned last week, and the week before that, and the week before that, and the week before that the measure of any line is 180 degrees, right? And that is when they're supplementary or when it's a linear pair, correct? Fantastic. So now what we're going to talk about the relationship between these angles right here. So these two are parallel. Now, when the lines are parallel, the angles have very special relationships. So when they are parallel, they have very special relationships. I need you to keep in mind that it only works if they're parallel. Does everybody understand? Kind of. Alright, so corresponding angles. What do you think the word corresponding means? Alright, it is. Your answers are great, but they're wrong. So, a pair of angles that lie on the same side of the transversal. Who said that? Take a point. Not any of y'all.
I thought it in my mind.
And in the same spot on the other two lines. We're going to talk about what all that means. But put a box, underline, heart, baby Jesus, same side and same spot.
Are you hit?
Yeah, I'm a little heated. So let's look at, are we done writing or do we need a moment?
We need like 3 minutes.
No. You can hustle. Do the hustle. Alright, so let's look at our picture and let's identify corresponding angles. Now, they have to be on the same side of the transversal. So somebody tell me 2 angles that are on the same side of the transversal. Catherine. 1 and, same side of the transversal. 1 and 5, yes. Now, they're on the same side of the transversal. Are they also in the same spot for the other 2 lines? Those are corresponding angles. Angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding. So let's write that. Angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding. What are another 2 pair of, what are, no, Mazzaro, answer my question. Pardon? Yes, angle 2, good, take a point. And angle 6. What's another pair? 1 and, not 1 and 7.
3 and 7.
3 and 7, yes, good, take a point. Alright, what's another one? 4 and 8, yes, great job, y'all. Take a point. Now, when the lines are parallel, corresponding angles are congruent. So let's write that at the bottom. When parallel lines, and that's the symbol for parallel, 2 lines that are parallel, corresponding angles are congruent. Alright, let's hustle. Alternate interior angles. What do you think the word alternate means?
Outside.
No, what does the word alternate mean? Corresponding was they're on the same side, right? So what would alternate be? Opposite sides. And what would interior be? Inside. Alright, so alternate interior angles. It's a pair of angles that lie on opposite sides of the transversal and since it says interior, are they inside the parallel lines or outside the parallel lines? Inside, yes. And are Blair, you know how to spell. Inside the parallel lines. What, honey? I'm going to move it back up. Give me just a second. Are we ready? Is anybody not ready?
That's me. Okay, I'm done.
Okay. Alright, so which ones do you think are alternate interior? 4 and 5 and yes, 4 and 5, 3 and 6. So angle 4 and angle 5 and angle 3 and angle 6 are alternate interior. Now, when you have parallel lines, alternate interior angles are congruent. But only when the lines are parallel. Only when the lines are parallel. If they're not parallel, they can still be alternate interior, but they're not necessarily congruent. Alright, so if angle 3 is 45, what's the measure of angle 6?
45.
What's the measure of angle 7?
45.
What's the measure of angle 2?
45.
What's the measure of angle 1? 135, yeah. So if this is 45, why would this be 135? Because they're supplementary. It's a linear pair. So what would angle 5 be? 135. What would 8 be? What would 4 be? Look at us go. Turn the page. Do you feel slightly better about this than proof so far?
No.
Why? Because you're behind?
Yeah.
Okay.
I might have to watch that later.
Okay. That's okay. It happens. Yes. Look at you go. I don't know what to tell you, Pumpkin. Can you just chill with us for a little bit? Okay.
I read this too.
No.
Nothing.
What, baby?
I already read this too.
Yeah, okay. Alright, so if alternate interior angles are on the inside of two parallel lines, what would exterior angles be? On the outside. So, outside angles that lie on opposite sides of the, and what word do we use? What's it called? Transversal. Sure, Nakia. Hey, Trey, I don't know if you know this, but we're having class. So could you stop talking? Thank you so much. Now, are those two lines parallel right there? No, they don't have the tickies, and it also looks like they're going to eventually come together. So, since they're not parallel, our angles are not congruent unless they are vertical angles. But, which two are alternate exterior angles? 2 and what? 2 and 7, yes. So, angle 2 and angle 7. What's another one? 1 and 8. Awesome. All right, what are complementary angles? Sum up to 90. Yes. Angles that add up to 90 degrees. What about complementary angles? They add up to 180. What are vertical angles? They're across from each other when two lines what?
Intersect.
Yes, good. Take a point. You throwing stuff, Sebastian? You just had enough? I can't take anymore. Alright, so opposite angles formed by the intersection of two lines. Are they congruent?
Yes.
Yes. What about adjacent angles? They are. And what do they share? What do they have in common? A vertex and a array. Awesome. Good. Both of you take a point. So adjacent angles are angles that share. You should be writing this down. A common vertex and common side. Write this down. You've missed all the notes on this page. There is one last term that we need to write that I forgot to make a space for. Super sorry. It's called consecutive angles. What do you think that means?
Something that's difficult.
Alright, so consecutive angles are on the same side and they're interior. So consecutive interior are like 4 and 6. So consecutive interior, and we're going to do angle 4 and angle 6. What about on the other side? What would it be? 3 and 5. No. Alright, so what is a pair of alternate interior angles on this figure? One person raise their hand and tell me. Trey. Pardon? Alternate interior? Can you also not put my ruler on your lips? Thank you so much. Alternate interior. Y'all, alternate interior. Inside the lines, 3 and 6. Alternate interior. Interior is inside, so it'd be 3 and 6 and? Okay, does everybody see that? No, that was painful. Alright, name a pair of vertical angles. Riley, name me a pair of vertical angles. Yes, good. Take a point. All right, Raven, name another pair of vertical angles. Take a point. Aubrey, name a pair of corresponding angles.
Wait.
Flip it back. We just did that. Flip it to the previous page. I'll leave the figure on the board. You just flip to the previous page. 1 and 5. Yes, because corresponding angles are on the same side and in the same spot. So it's literally, if you took this picture up and put it right here, it's in the same position.
Lit.
Take a point. What's another pair of corresponding angles? Trey, redeem yourself. 2 and 6. Good, take a point. What is a pair of alternate exterior angles? Alternate exterior angles. Mazzaro. 1 and 8. What's another one? 2 and 7. Name a linear pair. What now?
1 and 2.
1 and 2. And 3 and 4. And 7 and 8. What about 5 and 7?
No, those are adjacent.
And it's also a linear pair, right?
Yeah,
Because it makes a line, yeah? What about 6 and 8?
yes.
All right. Homework. Tarea.
You got homework? I thought we were done.
Ooh, okay.
We worked so last.
Right. It's not even close to the bell ringing. All right, so your homework is on your math workshop. So go to 18A and week 1. So from week 1, you're going to do 9, 10, and 11. So let's look at 9, and we're going to do A and B together. Now, are these lines parallel? Are any of these lines parallel? No, they're not. So the angles aren't congruent. But can anybody tell me what kind of angles are 4 and 9? Are those alternate interior, alternate exterior, corresponding, or consecutive? Corresponding. Who said that? Take a point. Put your hand down.
I need one, because I don't have one.
Week 1 of math workshop that we just glued down on page 18A.
Yeah, I got it now.
9, 10, and 11. What about B? What are angles 3 and 5? Three and 5. Alternate interior. Good. Take a point. Haley, were you going to say that? Take a point. What about 1 and 6? Alternate exterior. Good. Take a point. So now you just have D and E to do, and then 10 and 11 on the next page. Now, if you have a number strip from last period, not this period, last period, please hold it up in the air.